Welcome to the untamed frontier, where legends were born and myths were made. Today, we journey back in time to meet five of the most iconic figures of the Wild West. Billy the Kid, the infamous outlaw known for his quick draw and his even quicker temper, his legend lives on as one of the most notorious gunslingers of the era. Butch Cassidy, the charming and cunning leader of the Wild Bunch, his daring train and bank robberies made him a legend and a wanted man. Wyatt Earp, a beacon of justice. As a fearless lawman, Earp's shootout at the OK Corral cemented his place in Wild West history. Wild Bill Hickok, the legendary marksman, gambler, and lawman, brought his own brand of justice to the West. His sharpshooting skills were as legendary as his adventures. And finally, Jesse James, the notorious outlaw and leader of the James Younger Gang. His daring raids and charismatic leadership made him a folk hero to some and a feared criminal to others. These men, with their guns and grit, wrote chapters in the history of the Wild West. Join us as we unravel the tales, truths, and the legends of these five iconic figures. How did a young boy from New York City become one of the most notorious outlaws in American history? Meet Billy the Kid, the legendary figure from the American Old West. Born as Henry McCarty in the bustling city of New York, Billy's life took a sharp turn westward. This ambitious lad from the East Coast found his calling in the untamed territories of the Wild West. A charismatic and deadly character, Billy the Kid's life was a turbulent journey into lawlessness. From a young age, McCarty was drawn into a life of crime. His involvement in the Lincoln County War, a violent feud in New Mexico, marked his descent into lawlessness and his rise as a notorious outlaw. McCarty's gunfighting prowess and daring exploits, including rustling cattle and horse thieving, sparked a widespread manhunt. He became a figure both feared and admired, his charisma as deadly as his guns. His sensational escape from jail, a daring feat that stunned the nation, only added to his infamous legacy. But was Billy the Kid really the ruthless killer he was made out to be? History paints a vivid picture of this infamous outlaw. But the brushstrokes may not be as dark as they seem. There's an ongoing debate about the exact number of lives Billy claimed. Some accounts suggest it could be far fewer than the lore suggests, perhaps only 4. Despite his reputation, the true extent of his lawlessness remains a subject of debate. But what is undeniable is the enduring legacy of Billy the Kid. His name echoes through the lore of American history, casting a long shadow over our imagination. His exploits, real or embellished, have permeated pop culture, inspiring countless books, movies, and songs. His story, a symbol of the wild and often lawless period of the Old West, reflects our fascination with outlaws and the untamed frontier. From a young boy in New York to a legendary outlaw, Billy the Kid's story continues to captivate us, an iconic figure of the Wild West. Butch Cassidy, the name that struck fear in the hearts of banks and trains in the late 19th century. Born as Robert Leroy Parker, he was raised in a devout Mormon family in Utah, but his life took a different path. The young lad, who once tended cattle, was drawn to a life of crime. His natural charisma and strategic mind proved to be his greatest assets. From Robert Leroy Parker, the unassuming ranch hand, emerged Butch Cassidy, the formidable outlaw. Butch Cassidy didn't just rob banks, he orchestrated grand heists that shook the nation. As the mastermind of the Wild Bunch gang, he and his notorious partner, the Sundance Kid, pulled off audacious robberies that captured the nation's attention. Their exploits were not marked by violence, but by a strategic cunning that was rare among outlaws of the time. Cassidy's preference was always for a well-laid plan rather than a smoking gun. In an era of ruthless outlaws, Cassidy stood apart, preferring wit over weaponry. Cassidy's story didn't end with his presumed death. His legend has grown, shaping the narrative of the American Old West. His exploits, infused with charisma and strategic cunning, have been immortalized in popular culture, resonating in books and on the silver screen. The iconic partnership with the Sundance Kid has been etched into the folklore of the Old West, painting a vivid picture of the outlaw era. Yet amid the romanticized tales lies an ongoing mystery. The question of Cassidy's fate still stirs debates, intrigue, and fascination. Some claim he died in a shootout in Bolivia, Yet others insist he returned to the United States, living out his days in anonymity. The truth remains elusive, adding another layer to the myth of Butch Cassidy. The allure of his story lies not only in his criminal escapades, but also in his aversion to violence. The enigma of Butch Cassidy, the outlaw who preferred brains over bullets, continues to captivate us, etching his name in American folklore. October 26, 1881. The sun blazes down on Tombstone, Arizona. The tension is palpable. 3 men stand ready, their hands twitching near their holsters. In the heart of the American Old West, this was the stage for the infamous gunfight at the OK Corral. A bitter feud ignited by law and order erupted into a deadly shootout. Wyatt Earp, lawman and gunfighter, stood his ground alongside his brothers and Doc Holliday. In less than 30 seconds, 3 men lay dead, and the legend of Wyatt Earp was born. But who was this man who would become a legend? To understand that, we must travel back to Wyatt Earp's early life. Born in Illinois in 1848, Earp was one of 7 children. He held a variety of jobs in his early years, from teamster to buffalo hunter. These experiences led him to Dodge City and Tombstone, where he became a lawman, renowned for his toughness and effectiveness. These experiences shaped him into the man who would one day face down danger in the dusty streets of Tombstone. However, Wyatt Earp was not just a lawman. His life was as varied as the landscape of the Old West itself. Beyond the badge and the gunslinger persona, Earp was a savvy businessman, dabbling in various trades. He ran saloons, where he dealt drinks and stories in equal measure. He ventured into the mining industry, digging deep into the heart of the frontier. He even refereed boxing matches, imposing order in the chaotic world of sport. Earp was a man of many talents, a true embodiment of the spirit of the Old West. Wyatt Earp, a man of action, a man of courage, a man of legend, his impact on American history and popular culture cannot be understated. Earp's adventures, his lawman status, and his legendary gunfights have been immortalized in countless films and books, transforming him into a symbol of the wild, untamed American West. His story, embellished with time, has become a part of the fabric of American folklore. Wyatt Earp, the lawman, the gunfighter, the legend. His name and his story continue to captivate us, a symbol of the wild, untamed spirit of the American frontier. In the stories of the American Old West, few names shine brighter than James Butler Wild Bill Hickok, a lawman, gunfighter, gambler, a man of many faces, all etched into the rugged canvas of our nation's past. Born in rural Illinois, his path would lead him to become a symbol of the untamed frontier. Hickok's journey to legend began in his youth. Born in the heartland of Illinois, he honed his marksmanship skills while hunting to feed his family. His sharpshooting prowess was soon recognized, and as the Civil War erupted, he served as a scout and spy for the Union Army. Engaging in dangerous missions and high-stakes gunfights, Hickok proved his mettle in the face of adversity. From the chaos of war, a legend was forged. The plains of Kansas saw the rise of Wild Bill Hickok, the lawman. As sheriff and marshal, his daring exploits and uncompromising enforcement of the law became legendary. His gunfights and law enforcement made him a beacon of order in the lawless frontier. One duel would forever seal Hickok's place in Wild West folklore. The showdown with Davis Tutt in Springfield was not just a test of courage, but a defining moment that bolstered Wild Bill's legendary status. In a flash of gunfire, a legend was immortalized. There was more to Wild Bill than guns and law. Hickok ventured into acting, joining Buffalo Bill Cody's show as a scout and sharpshooter. This brief detour added another layer to his fame. Even off stage, Wild Bill was never far from the limelight. Wild Bill Hickok's legend transcends the man himself. His daring exploits, ironclad sense of justice, and unparalleled marksmanship have become synonymous with the raw and untamed spirit of the American frontier. His life, a blend of fact and fiction, is woven into the very fabric of our national folklore, adding color to the tapestry of the Wild West. His spirit, as wild and untamed as the frontier he roamed, continues to captivate us, a perfect embodiment of the Old West. One of America's most notorious criminals was also one of its most compelling storytellers, Jesse James. the infamous 19th century outlaw, renowned for audacious bank and train robberies. Yet, intriguingly, a master manipulator of the media. Jesse James was not just an outlaw, he was a man who knew how to wield a pen as well as a gun. Born in Missouri in 1847, Jesse James's childhood was steeped in the turmoil of the Civil War. His upbringing on the family farm was disrupted as the conflict tore through the heart of America. Jesse's family, like many in Missouri, were deeply divided by the war. His older brother Frank joined the Confederate guerrillas, a decision that would have a profound impact on young Jesse. The harsh realities of war and the influence of his brother set Jesse on a path of lawlessness. His experiences during the war played a significant role in shaping the outlaw he would become. In the post-war years, Jesse and his brother Frank formed the infamous James Younger Gang. This band of outlaws, notorious for their audacious bank and train robberies, left a trail of fear and awe across the Midwest. Their audacity was unmatched, their exploits legendary. They didn't just rob banks, they boldly defied the law, leaving their mark on the era of the Wild West. Their exploits were ruthless, daring, and captured the attention of an entire nation. Yet there was another side to Jesse James, a side that made him even more intriguing. This notorious outlaw of the Wild West was also an avid writer. He would often pen letters to the press, providing his own justification for his actions. These letters were more than mere self-defense. They were tools with which he shaped his public image. He controlled the narrative, painting himself as a Robin Hood-like figure. He wasn't just a criminal, but a cunning manipulator of his own narrative. Jesse James, the notorious outlaw and the cunning storyteller, left an enduring legacy. His tale, steeped in both crime and charm, has been romanticized in American folklore and pop culture, becoming a timeless narrative of the Wild West. His life, his crimes, and his stories continue to captivate us as we grapple with the legend that is Jesse James.